Kwingineko, Rais William Ruto amenyoshia kidole cha lawama serikali ya kaunti ya Nairobi kwa kushindwa kuiboresha kaunti ambayo pia ni jiji kuu la taifa. Hata hivyo, akiwa amesifu makubaliano ya ushirikiano yaliyoainishwa kati ya serikali kuu na serikali ya kaunti ya Nairobi, Rais Ruto ameahidi kuleta mabadiliko makubwa katika sekta ya barabara, kushughulikia changamoto za usimamizi wa taka, kuweka taa za barabarani na kujenga uwanja mpya wa ndege. Kulingana na ripoti ya mwandishi wetu wa masuala ya kisiasa Chris Tairu, Rais Ruto pia alionyesha kujiamini kwenye uchaguzi mkuu ujao.
Rais William Ruto alipeleka kampeni ya muhula wa pili kwenye mitaa ya Dagoretti kusini na kaskazini katika kaunti ya Nairobi, huku pia akizindua miradi kadhaa ya maendeleo iliyofadhiliwa na serikali za kaunti na kitaifa. Ziara hii ikifanyika chini ya wiki mbili tangu rais na serikali ya kaunti ya Nairobi chini ya gavana Johnson Sakaja kutia saini makubaliano ya ushirikiano. Rais hakuchukua muda kueleza kushindwa kwa baadhi ya sekta za serikali ya kaunti.
Takataka imejaa Nairobi, barabara mbovu imejaa Nairobi, hospitali haitoshi Nairobi, mataa haitoshi Nairobi.
A section of Nairobi County Assembly members have renewed efforts to impeach Governor Johnson Sakaja. The MCAs, led by Minority Leader Waithera Chege, accused the governor of failing to fulfill development promises despite a similar motion being halted last year. This comes just hours after the Assembly unanimously passed the cooperation agreement between the national government and Nairobi City County government to transform city infrastructure and services. Willie Lusige reports.
Months after President William Ruto and the late ODM leader Raila Odinga intervened and saved Governor Johnson Sakaja from an impending impeachment, a section of county assembly members at it again. On Tuesday, a section of Nairobi County Assembly members announced fresh bid to remove the governor from the office.
Had another agenda of presenting the signatures of impeachment before the clerk. Unfortunately, we were not able to do that this afternoon. The clerk was nowhere to be seen. The speaker has promised us that tomorrow by 10 a.m. we'll be able to present the same before the clerk.
Led by Minority Leader Waithera Chege, the MCAs say they have 22 new charges against governor, whom they accuse of failing to meet the part of the bargain. They argue that the governor failed to redeem himself even after being given 3 months to address earlier concerns. They claim there has been little or no development under his administration.
We were supposed to give Governor Sakaja 60 days to implement some of the issues that the MCAs had raised. So this one has nothing to do with the first impeachment.
In life, giving people a second chance is not a crime, but if you continue giving second chances and things don't work, then that becomes a crime. It becomes negligence.
The MCAs insist they have numbers required to send Sakaja home. They say they will make public the 22 charges and the names of members who have signed the motion once the petition is officially received by the clerk.
We have enough signatures for the first round. The second round comes within the 7 days, and I can assure you we have an overflow. And therefore, moving forward, we will only be counting days from tomorrow.
The renewed impeachment push comes shortly after the same assembly unanimously passed the cooperation agreement between the national government and Nairobi City County government to transform city infrastructure and services.
Within 30 days, from today midnight, this steering committee and implementation committee must bring into form before the assembly the report of what they want to implement, the short-term, the long-term, the mid-term and long-term programs. Under
the new deal, the national government will provide Kenya shillings 80 billion to address key urban challenges in the city. The assembly has also amended the agreement to include county chief officers in the oversight committee. Members say the 80 billion shillings will not be transferred directly to the county accounts, but will be managed under a structured oversight framework. Willie Lusige, Citizen TV.
Treasury Cabinet Secretary John Mbadi is on the spot after admitting to misleading Kenyans over the controversial 5 trillion shillings infrastructure fund in official court papers filed recently at the Milimani High Court, the Treasury boss saw an affidavit confessing that he misled Kenyans on the establishment of the National Infrastructure Fund. Appearing before a joint sitting of the Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning on Public Debt and Privatization, Mbadi made a declaration that will prove false. And as KTN's Daniel Kariuki now tells us, the National Infrastructure Fund bill has been introduced for the second reading in the National Assembly.
Treasury Cabinet Secretary John Mbadi, while appearing before a joint sitting of the Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning and the Select Committee on Public Debt and Privatization in January, said that the National Infrastructure Fund had already been established as a limited liability company.
We believe that by investing in infrastructure, we'll even give intergenerational equity to future generation by being used for their when that time comes, they will still use it. But on sovereign wealth fund, it's even more explicit, and that is with you. The bill is with you in the National Assembly.
It's now emerging weeks later through a supplementary affidavit filed last week at the High Court that Mbadi misled the country. Paragraph 5 of Mbadi's sworn affidavit says, and I quote, "During the said proceedings, I mistakenly informed the committee that the National Infrastructure Fund had already been established as a limited liability company." End of quote. The Treasury CS sought to explain why he misled the country by blaming his own technical officers for the falsehood. He told the court that at the time of making the statement, he had been informed by technical officers at the ministry that the process of registration of the entity began in December 2025. He further said, and I quote, "I genuinely believed, albeit mistakenly, that the incorporation process had been finalized, noting that the process at the Business Registration Bureau are quite seamless and the process of incorporation ordinarily takes a few days." This admission is contained in a supplementary affidavit filed before the Constitutional and Human Rights Division of the High Court. It is in relation to a petition brought by 4 citizens led by Nakuru Dr. Magare Gikenyi, challenging the legality of the government's secret plan to create a corporate vehicle to manage public money on a scale larger than Kenya's entire national budget.
Is working.
Despite the legal clouds and the admission of misinformation, the government is not backing down. The National Infrastructure Fund bill has moved to its second reading as Majority Leader in the National Assembly, Kimani Ichung'wah, refuted claims that the fund will be prone to abuse.
The establishment of this fund will significantly enhance the country's capacity to deliver, as I said, on transformative infrastructure projects in roads, railways, energy, water infrastructure, and other strategic national assets across the country. If you continue running the economy the way we are running, we would only be able to build approximately 30 to 20 kilometers per year, Honorable Speaker. And that's why the reckoning call is, how do we balance the need for development expenditures, the need to honor our constitutional mandates?
The Controller of Budget, Margaret Nyakango, and the Auditor General had raised concerns over the establishment of the fund. Nyakango questioned the legality of exuding her office from authorization of withdrawal and expenditure of the proceeds. Daniel Kariuki, KTN.
Sasa tumechoka na Ruto. Yaani tumechoka. Motherfucker. Kama ni Ruto tutaki president wake bana. Hakuna kazi. Yaani tunakula msoto. Tunakula msoto. Sasa kwa nini tuwe na rais kama wewe bana? Mimi nimesema kama hizi salamu zikufikie bwana rais, tumechoka na wewe.